Most woodworkers roll their eyes the second they hear the word melamine. They'll tell you it's cheap, soulless, and not even real woodworking. And to be fair, compared to oak or walnut, melamine doesn't exactly inspire poetry. It doesn't take oil beautifully, it doesn't develop character over time, and it certainly doesn't make you look like a master craftsman. Except, of course, when those same woodworkers hear about epoxy tables. That's when the eye rolling really starts, because now it's plastic meeting wood, and somehow that's even worse in their minds. If melamine is boring, epoxy is offensive. But here's the twist. I built this large cabinet for my own living room entirely out of melamine and MDF. Not because I can't cut dovetails or make mortise and tenons, but because this material gave me the modern, modular look I actually wanted. It's not glamorous, but it's exactly what I need for this space. Melamine has a reputation problem, and in many ways it's deserved. It chips if you rush it, it's heavy to move around, and if you miss a pilot hole, the edge will blow out instantly. Nobody's clapping if you post a melamine cabinet on Instagram, for example. And you definitely won't win points in traditional woodworking forums either. And to be honest, this wasn't even the project I originally planned to post this week. My planer broke in the middle of the nightstand build. So, while I'm waiting for parts, I decided to finally put this melamine project together instead. It's not the glamorous hardwood work I usually show, but it's real life, and it kept me building. Customers, the people who actually buy furniture, usually don't care about joinery. They're not paying extra for hand-cut dovetails or fancy joints they'll never notice. They care about something that looks good in their home, is affordable, and can be replaced in 10 years when they renovate again. In fact, most buyers would rather you save them money on joinery and put it on design or color. To explain the design, let me show you where it started. I actually got this piece of paper from the designer a year ago when we remodeled the first floor, and it all had the furniture laid out for the living room. I wanted to bring that plan into my workflow, so I rebuilt it in SketchUp, which is what you're seeing here. The colored blocks show different cabinets: white melamine for the big storage units, oak for the bottle cabinets, and a Ferrari-red MDF cube in the middle that would later be framed in black metal. From a flat drawing to a 3D model, it already starts to feel real. And eventually, from SketchUp to the shop, it becomes the actual piece I'm building here. For this project, I had all the panels cut and edge banded by a local company. The machines needed for that, a CNC, sliding saw, a professional edge bander, are incredibly expensive and not something most small shops could ever justify. And that's the real beauty of working with melamine. Because it's so common here, there are companies dedicated entirely to cutting and bending panels. You just give them the dimension of each panel, and they'll even optimize the cuts across full sheets so there's minimal waste. For a small fee, you get back panels that are perfectly sized, perfectly edged, and completely spotless. No chipped corners, no glue mess, just ready to assemble. The assembly here is done European style, which might look unusual if you're watching from the US. I use Euro screws, which are designed for melamine. They bite cleanly, don't split the edges, and they're quick to drive. On this side of the pond, this is how everyday furniture is built, from wardrobes to kitchen cabinets. The first unit was the bottom right cabinet, a simple white melamine box about 900 mils wide and 1 meter tall. I always start with the carcass, just the outer shell, and then drill the holes for the dividers. By the way, that's another European thing. Even fixed dividers often go into pre-drilled holes, like shelf pins, because it makes the alignment way more simpler. Underneath, the cabinet actually sits on what's called a toe kick. It's basically a recessed base made from 2 strips of melamine about 10 centimeters tall, set back slightly from the front edge. You've seen these in kitchens 1,000 times, but most people never notice it. The idea is to lift the cabinet off the ground, protect it from spills or mopping water, and let you stand right against the doors without your toes bumping into the front. It's one of those invisible details that makes furniture more comfortable and durable at the same time. Once the box was sitting solid on its toe kick, I moved on to the doors. Melamine doesn't forgive mistakes, so I always pre-drill the hinge caps with a 35mm bit. I don't use a fancy jig here, I just mark out the spacing and drill it manually, which works fine if you take your time. After that, it's just a matter of mounting the hinges, hanging the doors, and tweaking the screws until the gaps look clean. To finish the cabinet, I nailed in a 3mm HDF white back panel. It doesn't look like much, but that thin sheet locks the box square and adds surprising rigidity. Next to it went the bottle cabinet. It's only about 200mm wide, in oat color melamine, with angled dividers cut to hold the bottles. I left it open with no door, which gives contrast against the white cabinets. The angled dividers are what makes this cabinet more than just a narrow box, so let me show you quickly how to install them. Okie dokie. So what we need to do, I already cut them, I showed you. I cut these at a 58-degree angle. That's how it was in the plan that I made, so I don't know why. And basically what we need to do is to put them like this. Now, let me tell you how you're supposed to do this. Basically, you put this here, you clamp it, and the easiest way to do it is to put the cabinet on its back, put it here, then cut the same exact angle on your saw, and basically have one of these, which you're gonna be putting right here, aligned. And you're gonna drill a hole through this because this is square. You clamp this, or you either clamp it, or maybe you could just put double-sided tape on it, have them aligned, and this way it's gonna be very easy for you to drill through this and use it as a template for each and every piece you want. Me, because I'm lazy, I already have this, but I don't want to use double-sided tape. I'm just gonna measure everything, and I'm gonna do it by hand because I've done this a lot and I kinda know how it's supposed to go. So fingers crossed I don't mess anything up, and hopefully it will go well. On paper, it's just a narrow box, nothing special. But once you start adding the angle dividers, it suddenly takes on a real purpose. They turn that space into a dedicated bottle holder, and that's the detail that makes this unit stand out. I drilled the holes by hand, which might look a little bit rough, but I've done this 100 times and it works. If you're doing it for the first time though, the safer way is to make the small template I was talking about. Stick it in the opposite wall and double-sided tape it, and then drill perpendicular to that. That way you get perfectly mirrored holes and everything lines up cleanly. Once the dividers are in place, the box doesn't feel like office storage anymore. Leaving it open without a door breaks up the design and gives some warmth against the white cabinets. That one design choice makes the whole piece feel more like it belongs in a home, not just a workshop project. The top section repeats the same pattern as the bottom, just without the toe kick. On the left, another 900mm wide white cabinet with doors, and on the right, another narrow oak-colored bottle cabinet with angle dividers. I filmed one of each so you can see the process, but I built the second pair off camera since they were identical. That repetition is part of the efficiency here. Once you've worked out the process on the first unit, the rest can go together quickly and predictably. Now, right in the center, I built the simplest of them all, the Ferrari-red MDF cube. Just 4 planks screwed together into an open box. It takes the least time, but it completely transforms the look of the piece. That pop-off color is what makes the cabinet stand out. Later, I'll add a black metal frame around it, but even now, it draws the eye immediately. Once all 5 cabinets were done, I aligned them into one unit. This is where modular construction shines. Instead of wrestling one box, I had 5 smaller ones that stacked and locked together. To make sure everything stayed straight, I cut a few quick grooves for biscuits between the top and the bottom sections. That way, when I set them in place, they slotted together perfectly without shifting around. From there, it was just a matter of driving screws through the sides to stitch everything tight. Nothing fancy. Just simple, easy and strong enough to hold the whole structure square. And that's when it really started to feel like a complete piece of furniture. Here's the finished cabinet in place. Clean white and oak panels frame the piece, and the Ferrari-red cube in the center makes it pop. The whole thing looks modular, modern and deliberate. Not cheap at all. It's what melamine can be when it's designed thoughtfully and built carefully. It doesn't try to be solid wood, it embraces what it is. And in this case, that's exactly what I wanted for my home. Simple, functional and modern. So yes, melamine might not win you respect in a woodworking forum. And I'm sure I'll get a few snarky comments under this video too. And that's fine. Not every project has to impress other woodworkers. But if you want to build furniture people actually buy, this is one of the smartest way to start. It's fast, it's accessible, and it works. This cabinet is just the first piece in a larger living room set I'm building. I'll share the rest of it in upcoming videos as it comes together. And now that my jointer is back up and running, I'll also be diving into hardwood projects again, including the nightstands I've been teasing. Until then, don't underestimate melamine. It may not be glamorous, but it has its place. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next build.